All right, looks like we're live. If you're watching this on the YouTube VOD, it means I haven't finished editing it yet to cut out the beginning because I'm starting the live stream a little bit early. So feel free to skip ahead about 10 minutes or so. Let me double check the time here. Yeah, go ahead and skip ahead about 7 minutes or so. So we'll be starting on time at about 2 p.m. PDT, as usual. So hello to all you early birds. Thank you for joining us. And we'll be starting in a little bit. Let's get Stackman in here. Hey, Stackman.
Hello.
Whoa, I have you coming out of the wrong thing. Hold on. Wait, what? Why? Stackman is coming out of my speakers. That's not what I want. I'm gonna restart Discord really quick.
All right.
Hey everyone. I'm feeling a little nervous, so I need your positive energy. Send it my way. That would be much appreciated. I'm having trouble actually restarting Discord because it's not showing up on my task icons. And Discord doesn't have like a real menu anywhere. Which is a little annoying. There we go. Quit Discord. Cool. PowerPoint actually shows the time, so I don't have to hit the Windows key to show it. That's good. All right, let's test.
Huh?
Okay, cool. You're coming out of my headphones now.
All right. Good. Good.
See, I'm not gonna be like holding my push to talk key while I'm doing the lecture stuff, but I'll chime in, or you're free to listen to the stream, I guess, too. Thank you for helping out with this. You're good to join the server and all that?
Yeah, I'm in right now.
Awesome. Thanks for all the hearts, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's do this thing in 5 minutes or so. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's day been? I hope you're having a good time. For me, I'm doing okay, I guess. I'm just been able to go outside and go on walks a little bit more, and that's been helpful. Still looking for a job, and we'll see how that works out. I'm just gonna do my best. I just realized that there's like a shape on my window that looks like a cat, and I'm very pleased. It's like a smudge on it. I'm very happy about that. Good, that's good to hear, Smokey. I managed to get to sleep last night, and I think the way I sleep is I actually just straight up play video games until I'm tired. I lay down, I angle my monitor so it's looking at me. Let's go, indeed, Loxic. Woke up with a sore wrist when you plan on drawing. Oh, wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. I'm gonna do a quick test here, really quick. Let's drag down my little tablet. Oh, my monitor's kind of in the way. It's not great, but... Oh no! Sneak peek. Don't look. Pen. Pineapple. Okay, cool. So we can draw. It's not going to be very easy for me to erase, I suppose. Yeah. But that's okay. We're just going to end the slideshow and discard that little scribble. Scribble. 4 minutes early, yep. We're getting started on time, though, in about 3 minutes, about 2 my time, so... FYI, Stackman, I'm gonna deafen Oh yeah, I'll put on yeah, I guess I could do a voice activation for you if you'd like that. I
Yeah,
have
that'd be great.
yeah, one sec. Okay. How's this working? All right, looks good.
Sounds good.
Cool. So I'm gonna be talking to the stream and not you at some point. So, well, for most of this actually. Once we get to the attributes themselves, then we'll start showing things off. Take a seat in the back of the class. Nice. Got your dog Newton 4 years ago to the day. Oh, happy adoption day to Newton. 4 years. Very happy to hear that. Looks like the front row seat's all filled up. And so is the back row seat. Nothing in the middle. Classic. No, that's not actually how it usually works. Usually the front row seats are pretty empty unless the class is like really, really full. Pyro PhD RP. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Oh wait, this is all wrong. Hold on, let's fix that. There we go. Let's do a quick test of our slide and game view. Looks good. Let me know if the volume is a little too loud or anything like that. But yeah, if the game volume is loud compared to my voice, let me know. I think it's probably fine. But, you know. Okay. Looks like the time is now. Thank you for joining us today on this beautiful Saturday, or rainy Saturday, or whatever kind of Saturday it is, or whatever day you're watching this is. Thank you for joining us on the first ever lecture of the Pyro PhD program, the official, unofficial Pyro PhD program, where you can finally say with pride as you WM1 an opponent down, actually, I utilize the very intricate mechanics of the flames in order to outsmart you. And so that'll be great to learn how to really show your opponents who's boss. So let's get started. Just a quick overview of what we're doing today. Talking a bit about myself, and really I'm not that important, so we're not going to spend too much time on that. We're going to talk a little bit about what the Pyro PhD program is, and what this particular lecture series on, as you can see, mechanics is. It's going to be about. And to that end, we'll need to talk a little bit about the history of Pyro, and we'll be sprinkling the history of Pyro in throughout these lectures as it becomes relevant. But for today, the main focus is going to be on the flamethrower mechanics, and in particular, we're going to be discussing. Oh wait, I'm a bad lecturer. Here we go. Don't worry, guys. It's a work in progress. Okay. We're going to be talking about the mechanics of flames in particular the way that they are formed, in the way that the shape is formed, and how it behaves as a result of the attributes of the flamethrowers. And in particular, to that end, we're going to need to know about flame managers and flame points and what those things are. And we're going to get a little bit technical there. So, but don't be too scared. It's not going to be too bad. So who am I? For those of you who don't know, I'm assuming most of you here live know who I am, but in case you don't, I am a 10-year Pyro player. I played this game for quite a long time, and I took a liking to Pyro pretty quickly, especially learning how to air blast and reflect things. That really got me interested in the class to begin with. I've played in Platinum, Highlander, and Invite Highlander throughout the many years, and the highest I've ever placed is 2nd place, and I'm pretty proud of that. It was quite an honor to retire at 2nd place. I have a background in computer engineering, and that's what I use. I use some of that experience and knowledge to sort of help me figure out the secrets hiding beneath the mask of Pyro. So, and I'm not exactly sure why I've spent thousands of hours playing Pyro and looking into the intricate details of the class, but I just like it. I enjoy it, and I hope to spread some of that joy with you. Now, for the actual PhD program itself, we'll be doing lectures on Saturdays at 2 p.m. It's subject to change, of course, as time goes on, as demand for other times may come in. But we're starting at 2 p.m. because that was what the poll for my last video results showed. People liked about 3 p.m., 1 p.m. I would like to do them once a week, but I still have my own life to do, so it's gonna be a little bit random at first. We'll try to hit 30 minutes for each lecture with a 30-minute Q&A. If I go over 30 minutes, I'm gonna try to cut it off. If we go under 30 minutes, that's excellent. So we have some people in the chat. If you guys want to ask me questions, you can ping at me. But sometimes when you raise your hand in a lecture, the lecturer kind of just ignores you sometimes. Maybe they don't see you. I will see you probably, maybe, but maybe not, depending on how deep I get into my little rants about Pyro. So if you have any questions, don't worry, we'll be doing a Q&A after in the Discord. So feel free to save your questions for after that as well. Also, just really quick, if you have knowledge of Pyro and of in-depth knowledge of Pyro, or if you just if you know about reverse engineering, you know how to reverse engineer things, or just have an interest in helping on whatever way you feel like you can, let me know. Join the Discord, message me on Discord, however you feel like, and we can work on that together. That'd be awesome. Any help is greatly appreciated. So, Pyro PhD program. Notice this quotes. This is very important. Okay. This is my terrible handwriting. Get used to this. This is not a real PhD program. My A looks so bad there. Okay. This is not a real PhD program. In case that wasn't obvious. Okay, don't get your ego too inflated here if you're learning about these things that I have to share with you, okay? Because it's more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of name, and it has a nice little alliteration feel to it. That's just the title of the series. Don't you can claim you have a PhD in Pyro in a meta-ironic fashion, and that's perfectly fine. But if you actually say that you're a genius and have a PhD in Pyro, then maybe avoid that. And throughout this program, we're going to be focusing on multiple levels, and the levels are going to go from low to high, and this is the level of abstraction, or basically we talk about more details, and we're dealing more in just simple known facts. I guess we'll do known facts. And as we head over to the right on this little chart, things are gonna get a little bit more blurred. Where when we finally get to the strategies of Pyro, it's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot more to cover, because there's the strategies of playing Pyro are gonna really change based on your game mode. Perhaps you're playing sixes, perhaps you're playing Highlander, perhaps you're playing casual, and it's going to tie deeply into, for example, your loadout choices. So starting out, we're going to not really focus too heavily on this aspect of Pyro. We're going to be starting off with the more lower level details. But we will be touching on a little bit of more higher level concepts as we talk about these details, because they are intertwined. There is a sort of interlinking between the underlying mechanics and the programming. We're going to be talking about the programming of the class too, as time goes on. There's going to be a linkage between the programming and the mechanics of the class, and how you actually use them and use them to inform and create tactics. Tactics are going to be the choices that you make in the moment-to-moment gameplay. So these are going to be how you implement your strategies. You use tactics to implement your strategies. So the Pyro mechanics All right, we're trying to come back here. Thank you guys for letting me know about the technical difficulties. Use tactics to implement strategies. Okay. Okay, that's religion. It's cool. I'm interested. Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulty, guys. Are we back now? Okay, cool. Looks like we're back. So let me go back a little bit here on my slides because we got a little bit further ahead of ourselves. Okay. Cool. Thank you guys for keeping track of that for me and letting me know that it went down. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why my OBS decided to crash. Hopefully that does not happen again, but I'll try to pay a little bit closer attention to it. Okay, great. So where were we? We last at use tactics to implement your strategies, right? Okay. So that's probably when I wrote down implement right here, right? Okay. Let's see. Basically, what I ended up going into was, did I talk about this yet? About how strategies are heavily dependent on all kinds of different factors, or... But yeah, okay. Basically, strategy is heavily dependent on all kinds of different factors. So we'll be discussing those later, discussing specific weapons and things like that, and the tactics involved with different loadouts at a later time. But so for now, we're going to be focusing on what is possible, what is not possible, in as much detail as we can, and we're going to avoid making judgments about whether these things are good or bad. Those are discussions that are best held maybe in the Q&As or outside of class. Mention things like the format is on. Okay, good. So yeah, we're going to be using the knowledge that we gain about the mechanics of the class to inform and create the tactics. And so what this lecture series is going to be focused on is the mechanics, like what I just mentioned here, and a little bit. We're going to touch on the programming that creates the mechanics. All right, let's go on. This is basically just restating what we're talking about with mechanics, avoiding judgments, all that. It's just a text for your reference. And so in this series, we'll be discussing the Flamethrower. We're going to be discussing its damage. In today's lecture, we're going to be discussing its shape and behavior of the actual Flamethrower. It's the particles themselves. When we get to weapon timings, we'll discuss the degreaser and panic attack stuff, specifically because if we can understand weapon timings as it relates to these two weapons, then we'll be able to apply that knowledge to any of the pyro loadouts that we have. It's gonna serve as a basis for understanding the importance of weapon timings. We'll be talking about air blast. I'm not super confident in my in-depth knowledge, so I may bring in some help to talk about the inner workings of air blast. It's a little bit unknown to me exactly the exact intricate details of how it works, and as it relates to that reflex, and maybe we'll discuss some other things. It's going to be a pretty free-form series of lectures because it's not something I thought fully of just yet. Moving on to the history of pyro, and this is going to be just the most important areas are going to be right around here to this lecture. We'll be talking more about the degreaser when we talk about weapon timings. But most importantly, the most important thing that changes that happened were made relatively recently in Pyro's life, were the changes made in Jungle Inferno and in Blue Moon. And Jungle Inferno is going to be more relevant to today's lecture, but Blue Moon will be very important to know about. Jungle Inferno made some really, 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 really big changes. How long will I stream today? We're going to be streaming for... Oh, shoot, I'm getting distracted. Like, sorry. Okay. I'll answer your question in a little bit. As I was saying, Jungle Inferno made changes to the flames. In particular, they changed the visuals. That is terrible. Visuals of the flames. They made them match up with reality. And they made them very, very consistent. And this led to basically being able to do this with your mouse and have it kind of work out. So Blue Moon update helped to address that, and so now you actually kind of do have to aim. Let's talk about the reality of flames. The reality hidden beneath the mask. And I'm gonna be leaving the server in order to do this, and just quickly join a listen server in order to show you how these flames actually work in reality. If you want to go ahead and try this out for yourself, feel free to join up in any map. Just type map, blah blah blah. If you're unable to move, you use host. Let's see, thread mode 0. If you join your own map and it doesn't work out, host thread mode 0. SV cheats 1. TF debug flamethrower 1. This allows you to see flames. And flames in reality are actually little boxes, little cubes. They fire once every 0.044 seconds, just about, and consume about 1 ammo per 2 boxes that you shoot. They're about half the width of your hitbox, your collision hole. As you can see, they start off fast, but then they slow down at the edge of their range. They bounce along the floor, they collide with the world. And you'll notice that there are 2 colors of boxes. One is red and one is blue. These don't correspond to something like your team or anything like that. Rather, the blue boxes are where your damaging flames are, where the real flames are. Blue is the reality of where the actual flames are, according to the server. And the red boxes are the visuals, where you see these little particle effects coming into play. We often call flames particles, but really the particles are just a visual, and the real flames are hidden behind them, are hidden by unseen to the player themselves. But the visuals that you do see are a pretty decent approximation. There may be some edge cases where maybe you see a flame that isn't real, and maybe you get hit by a flame that you didn't see. But they should be, they're a very good approximation for what we have, especially when compared to the past. Let's move on. So, Jungle Inferno. This is where the changes really began. In Jungle Inferno, we went from one style of flames to another. In the past, flames were more individualistic, and this is the first picture that Bing showed, apparently, of the term individual. So flames were much more... I love these animations, so dumb. Flames were a lot more independent. Let's see, can I get to writing here? They're independent. They track who they've damaged, and they deal damage on their own. They did everything for the most part. I mean, not super technically speaking, but overall you can assume that they worked on their own. They hit once and only once. So you could be in a fire, in the old flame entities, the technical term. You could be in a flame entity for 10 hours, assuming that it lived that long, and you would just take like 8 damage. You know, they hit you once and only once. They phased through walls. They didn't, thankfully, for the most part, deal damage through walls, with some exceptions, as you may know some of the bugs with that. And let's see, and they inherited all your player moments, and we'll be talking about that later. We're running a little short on time here, so we're going to move on a little bit more quickly. to the big old wall of text. So in order to save me some time from having to write everything down. So now we moved on to a new system involving flame managers and flame points, hence the picture of the manager, the businessman. Flames no longer fully work independently because they have to go through the manager. And you have one manager per pyro at most. So now instead of the flames dealing damage on their own, the flame entities, now the manager decides when are you going to take damage. You're going to be taking damage every 0.075 seconds, and the manager is going to keep track of how often you're going to be taking damage and how much damage you take. So it's going to decide if you take big or that was supposed to be an arrow. Big damage or little damage. And the way it decides this is based on whether you're touching the oldest, or it's based on the oldest flame point that you're touching. So you could be standing in a big old, excuse me, had some food earlier, so I'm a little bleh. You could be standing in a whole big cloud of flames, and the only one that's gonna matter is the oldest. Your senior flame point. Flames are no longer called entities, by the way, they're called flame points. Your senior flame point's gonna be the one dealing the damage. So if you're a newbie and you're touching the same target as an old B flame point, then that the old one's gonna override you. He's gonna overrule you. And they changed some stuff with the player velocity inheritance. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Holy cow, this is actually so much to talk about. We're already almost through. We have 8 minutes left. Okay. So, why do we bring up the flame manager and flame points? Well, the flame manager has a bunch of attributes that these are the attributes that actually create the classic fire, the classic look of fire that you see that was implemented in Jungle Inferno. These are the attributes that decide what your flames look like and how they behave. There's a number of these that are currently used to create the look and feel of flames, and there's quite a number that aren't currently used that are interesting to look at, and we'll probably get to those at a later date because we're running a little low on time. So now let's look at what these attributes are and how they affect the flamethrower. First one, spread degree. Ooh, heard myself. Okay, spread degree. This, let me switch views here really quick. Actually, we'll go back to the slides first. So I'll join the server. Give me just a moment while I join the server so we can do the demonstrations. With the Stackman will be helping me here. Spread degree. This is, if you couldn't tell, if you couldn't guess, how wide your spread is going to be.
Pyro, calling here. Think you can handle this?
Default. So these are the default flames. As you can see, they have a little variance in the direction they go. It's a little hard to see right here though. So we're gonna change the spread degree. By default, it's set to 2.8, most likely degrees. And now, I wonder why it's not working on yours. That's interesting. Oh wait, now it is. There we go. Now, as you can see, flames spread out a lot more. This is a spread degree of 100. So, ideally you don't want this kind of flamethrower, right? But that's just one example of how spread works. Excuse me. Oops, that's not the correct thing. Spread off. So if we turn off spread, as you can see, they are now perfectly in alignment with each other. They don't go all over the place. And it still looks pretty good. The visual effects are still pretty good, honestly. But you know, Valve tends to add these little randomness effects to certain classes, like the Heavy, for example, has a little bit of a random spread. Next behavior, flame speed. Flames go pretty quickly to start off with. Over time they slow down, we'll be talking about what causes that, but they start off going quite fast. We can change that and see how, and this is pretty straightforward, right? You can kind of tell, make the speed a little higher, by a lot higher actually. They go quite a ways away. Really fast. So this speed does have, does tie into the range of the flamethrower. And so does the spread to some extent as well. If we go low speed, you see flames really don't really have much chance to go anywhere. It's rather slow, as you can imagine. Is reducing ping the only way to make flames not offset from crosshair when moving left and right? That's a great question. We'll get to that in the Q&A, I think. That's a great question. Next property, up. If we look at the default flames, you can see near the end of their lifetime. You can more easily see near the end of their lifetime. They kind of float up. And this is an upward vector that is added to every game tick to the flames. So if we make that a lot higher, they travel a lot higher, as you can imagine. And if we make that, if we turn that off entirely, they no longer move upwards. So now you know that in the default game, they move a little bit upwards. They billow. It really contributes to that billowing effect. With the negative upward value, they sink. And with the really high negative value, they just collapse. And you can see they actually kind of bounce a little bit. Next property that creates the flamethrower we know and love and or hate is drag. So as you can see in the default flames, they come to a halt. They start off fast and strong and slow down. Much like many fun human activities. If we change the drag value, if we make it a really high value, they stop much faster. They don't really have much time or to go as fast as they want. They stop way faster. This is a drag value of 15 as opposed to 18.5. If we do a low value, they go, this is another contributing factor to the range. They go much further. And hopefully you can kind of see that even though, let's see, can you just do some like taps? They do kind of slow down, right? So they start off this fast, right? Zoom right through the screen. But at the end, over here, they're much slower by the time they reach the end of their lifetime. So this is a drag value of 2. And if we turn drag off, they don't slow down at all. They'll still die, of course, but they don't slow down at all. Got a couple minutes left here. Let's try to finish this off. Lifetime. The lifetime of flames is how long they live. Pretty simple. Flames die on average after about 0.6 seconds. We can increase that or decrease it. So this is a high lifetime of 2 seconds, and you can see they last much longer. Yes, but the thing is that the flames in reality, in the default flames, their lifetime is not set in stone. It's not exactly 0.6 for every single one. There is a random lifetime offset that's chosen. Let me do a quick demonstration of a low lifetime. They die right away, as you can see. So now we're going to show what happens when we exacerbate the random lifetime offset. In this demonstration, we've turned off some of the spread as well, just to make it a little easier to see. And as you can see, if I go in a line here, we shoot flames in a line like this, some of them will die faster than others. Completely random. if we turn the random lifetime offset off, they all die in a row. One after the other. Not too bad. And I think this might be one of the last currently used attributes that creates flames. The player velocity inheritance. So if we look at the default flames, you can kind of see how far they go, right? Like, and if the thing about them is that they kind of squash and stretch a little bit as we move back and forward. But they always tend to maintain that same range if we're going forward or backward. Want to see if we can coordinate going forward here? Like, shoot flames forward. Yeah. They still kind of maintain their range. And the reason for that is because they inherit your velocity. But not all of your velocity. Technically speaking, they inherit the projection. Well, most likely behavior is that they inherit the projection of your velocity onto your aim vector. And if you know linear algebra, you might understand that. But if not, don't worry. You can basically just say that they inherit your forward and backward momentum. And in fact, if I go backwards, you want to go do some like backward steps like this? You can see that the flames, by the time that their drag has completely removed their own natural velocity, they actually start moving backwards too. And this is just to keep that range consistent. But if we turn that off, we no longer really have that same property. Now, so look, flames look way longer range, and now they're much shorter when he walks forward here. So that's just another thing that kind of contributes to the range of Pyro. The apparent range that you can see of Pyro is preserved by inheriting your forward and backward momentum. Alright, we've reached the end of today's content, I mean, just based on time, but as a quick... Are you saying no as in we haven't yet, or... as a quick little preview of what's to come, what the unused attributes are like. Here's an example of what you can do with some of those. Now this is a real gun, the Flamethrower. So stick around for the next lecture. We'll be going over the unused attributes in more detail. So we'll skip over those slides. Homework for today. I mean, you can't really answer that first question, but otherwise, make sure you do your homework and stick around for the Q&A. What? Here, let me show the homework in the full screen. And we'll see you next time. We'll go over the unused attributes of fire that don't really contribute to the current shape of flames. And and you know, who knows what else. All right, let's move on to the Q&A. Thank you for attending the lecture. We will I'll upload the modified slides in a little while. And if you want to join a Q&A, go ahead and join the Discord voice chat. I'll drag you guys in one at a time to have a little discussion with you guys if you feel like it. Or leave some questions in the chat, and I'll go ahead and answer those too. Is reducing ping the only way to make flames not offset from crosshair when moving left and right? So what you're referring to is... let's go back to the normal flames for this. As you can see, when you walk left and right, depending on your ping, you know, the edge of your flames are going to be a little different than where your crosshair is placed. So one little technique you can employ is to sort of strafe against your aim. So if you're aiming to the right, you strafe left, and vice versa. This will kind of help keep your flames a little bit more in line with your crosshair. So that's another way to do it. I mean, having lower ping is always nice. And if you do the opposite, you know, the distance between your crosshair and the current, the flames coming out of your flamethrower are going to be, it's going to be a little bit higher. All right, who should we drag in first? We'll do alphabetical order. I'm not sure if the people in there all want questions. Hey, Guard Angle, do you have a question, or are you just kind of hanging out?
I'm just hanging out.
Okay, I'll leave you in here.
Spanish.
I'll spare you. Goggles, you got a question? Or are you just hanging out?
So when's Terry Tuesday?
Terry Tuesday will happen probably on maybe on one of the next Tuesdays or Thursday.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Real quick question from the chat. What percentage of the final grade will homework account for? That'll be probably 100%. What's your favorite pyro secondary? My favorite is currently the panic attack. My second favorite is the jetpack. Those aren't necessarily the best options all the time, but they're my favorite just because I find them to be the most fun. And yeah, I can totally understand your point about the flare gun. Absolutely. Hey, Smiles, you got a question or just hanging out?
I have a question, actually.
What is your question?
My first one is very simple.
Yes.
Do you believe the flare gun needs a buff of some sort? Because I find that it's not very commonly used nowadays.
That's a great question. I'm not exactly sure if it should be the flare gun that's buffed. Really, the biggest nerf to the flare gun was indirectly done. It was a nerf to the degreaser for the most part. But then they kind of, you know, improve things a little bit with how long the flames last. Flames last a little longer now, so flare gun kind of got a little better after that. I'm not sure that a change to the flare gun itself is necessary.
Because I feel it should have like a 20% swap speed.
That would
just a small little bonus to it.
I think that is possibly a fair change. I think that is. I've heard that suggested before. I think that's the most fair change that you could come up with, probably.
And my second question is, what should I get for dinner? I can't decide.
Butter noodles.
Butter noodles.
Don't get it. You should make it, because then you can make it
of
not
course.
butter noodles.
You just make it with a little bit of butter, garlic, and rosemary. Nice and simple.
Heck yeah. And then you can transform it into not butter noodles and make it like sort of like mac and cheese, but not, by adding some like cheese powder and stuff. Get some black pepper grounded into the pan with the butter and the oil. I've been making those a lot lately. So, oh, let me drag Smokey in here. Smokey.
Hello.
You have a question? Or are you hanging out?
Yes, I actually have a question. So I have one question. So usually, I'm a shotgun pyro, so I have like a question like for like a 125 health class, like a scout. Should I just use the flamethrower, or just do like a puff of flames and try to kill him with the shotgun? What should I usually do in that situation?
Or like yeah, go ahead.
Against, and I'm not just saying scout DM, because usually you'll get killed by a scout, but I mean like not like below demo man health. Like, what should I just use my flamethrower, or should I like just use my flamethrower then switch to shotgun, or what?
That's a good question. That's going to be heavily dependent on a whole bunch of other factors, I would say. But generally speaking, against a low HP class, it's nice to be able it's nice to be able to not use your shotgun ammo on them if you can get away with it. You know, like if you can get away with killing them without really taking too much damage, excuse me, just by using your flames, then I would say go for that, because that gives you less time where you have to reload. But if you, for example, don't really have the time, you know, the scout's about to two-shot your medic, and you don't really have the time to sort of wait for the ramp up to come in and all that stuff, and maybe you don't think an air blast is going to help out, or you're not in position to air blast in such a way that it would actually be helpful to your team to save your medic, then maybe switching to the shotgun and trying to two-shot the scout faster than he can, you know, 2 or 3 shot your medic. You know, that might be more helpful. But if you can basically just use flames whenever you can get away with it.
Okay, so So basically, like usually, if like just in like a situation where I find someone and I know I probably can do it, I can just like WM1 them. But if
Yeah.
it's like like let's say like the scout jumps like or whatever class jumps my combo, I'll probably just like switch to shotgun. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, you would want to, because switching to your shotgun is a commitment, especially since the degreaser nerf, and that it takes a little bit longer to switch to it. So by making that commitment, you're limiting yourself a little bit more, and also using up ammo that maybe you didn't want to use.
Okay.
Oh my god, so much damage. Oh.
Right.
All right, yeah. Does anyone have any other questions or anything you want to discuss?
I have a legitimate, serious one that isn't
Yeah,
about
go for it.
Terry Tuesday. So, what would you think if, like, I know Valve's probably never gonna not update the game anytime soon, but what would you think if the panic attack got reverted?
Oh god, I would be so sad. I would just be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of boring.
I miss
Yeah.
it because, like, I had my panic attack is named. I missed the old panic attack, but I love the new one as well.
Well,
I feel like they should do the equalizer route and just separate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
it should have just
Oh, yeah.
been. It
Because
should've
I
just
love
been
the
a
Beggar's
pyro.
Bazooka shotgun. It's so fun.
Excuse me.
It should have just been like a new pyro shotgun. They already added new pyro weapons.
Except for it's not good for Pyro. It was best for other classes. It was my
No, I
favorite
meant
thing
like
to
the
use on
old.
the
We are
old
talking
panic
about the.
attack.
Oh,
Yeah, the new shotgun should have just been a new
Pyro weapon.
weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been a better choice, but I guess maybe I would assume that they just kind of just changed it because maybe laziness. I don't know. There's they probably don't want to dedicate that
Yeah.
much time to create a new weapon and like a new model and all that. Although
There's
I guess
so
they could
many-
have picked one off the workshop. So
Yeah.
yeah, that
It's
that-
because
that-
they didn't want to. They didn't think the old shotgun was being used enough.
Yeah,
I used it.
Oh.
It's like the Darwin Changes shield. Why didn't they just split the Darwin Changes shield? Why did they have to completely change it?
Oh.
Well, because the previous Darwin Danger Shield was a bit of a
Yes.
dick move to use.
But couldn't they just have nerfed it,
Wait.
huh?
Yes,
they had
but
to
then it
make a
makes it
completely
new
impossible to
weapon?
use. Because they only
Wait a
had
minute.
one use. The only use was to counter snipers.
Hey Johnny,
What's up?
was the danger shield ever banned in Highlander or no? Or did you have to
I
experience
think
the
it
danger
was,
shield? Okay,
because
yeah, that's what I thought.
basically, when it was a countervert to sniper, it was basically if one sniper ran it, the other basically kind of had to.
Yeah,
To properly
makes
win
sense.
their fights. I guess the thing about the panic, the reason I would say going on, was it Stackman who said it? Said basically no one ever used the panic attack. I guess the old panic attack. They probably base a lot of their decisions based on statistics that they gather, the data that they gather from casual, to see like what's the equip rate of this and how often is it used, and like how long it's equipped for and all that. So they probably saw that the numbers are really low, and you would be in the numbers there. One of the few who did use it more than most probably, but
Yeah. Also, that to me that kind of like a problem with Valve for balancing. They just see, oh, this weapon is used a bunch of times, or this weapon has never been used. Like the degreaser was mostly used like I don't know, like 90% of the time from the stock. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the old degreaser.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're like, the
It's
degreaser is way too good. We need to nerf it, and then they just made it like a direct upgrade.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
instead of like actually asking like, how could we change this? It's like, no.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. They certainly probably saw like, and they also consider competitive to some extent. That's probably why the Razorback was nerfed, because the Razorback
Yeah.
was super broken in Highlander.
Because really the only thing that could stop it was a sniper with a fully, like not really fully charged, but a charged headshot,
Yep.
or an ambi spy where you had a 2-shot with the headshot. So,
Yep. So
But,
it's-
but now that shit's at least the
Hey, Pyro, Colin here.
Razorback is not as good.
it no longer
because-
banned in
no.
Highlander. Because
Yeah.
no overheal, it means you are at a significant disadvantage in sniper v sniper fights.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other points of discussion or questions that we want to bring up?
I'm assuming you're probably going to talk about it in a later video, but about aiming your flames at the ground in front of certain entrances create the lingering flame effect.
That's
Is that ever actually useful in most combats? Because I've used it once or twice, but usually it never comes across.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because of the way flames kind of float in the air, it's not really necessary to aim them at the floor to do that. So, and plus, you create the possibility that someone could jump over them. I think I was playing around with Stackman on the server last night, and like, I kind of swept some flames on him, and he actually just jumped over them.
Oh,
Or maybe it was me
also
that did it.
that. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh wait. Also, that like I use lingering flames as kind of like a trapping tool. Let's say someone sees me, it's like, oh, it's a pyro, I'm gonna kill him. I'm at the corner, I run, and while I'm running backwards, I'm shooting flamethrowers, my flames. So then he runs into all the flames I use because lingering flames.
Yep.
So I do like 50 damage to him. So that's a saying you could use it for as like a trapping tool.
Yep.
Where-
you can definitely do that because, like, especially with the player velocity inheritance, if you when you're moving backwards, the flames at the end of their life are also moving backwards too. So if someone happens to be, walking forward chasing you, they're gonna be walking forward into your backwards moving flame particles, and they're just gonna be always inside them. So you can kind of, I would say, bouncing them off the floor isn't necessarily the most useful. I was hoping it would have some more use, but I'm having some difficulties, finding good tactics to use with them.
Yeah, the bouncing flames. The only like niche I can see for it using is in pubs where the
Oh, you cut out Smokey.
bouncing flame. So yeah.
You cut out there, Smokey.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So the only reason I would use the bouncing flames would be like in pubs where bad heavies, where you would use the panic attack and use the bouncing flames, because when you're really up
Yeah.
close to them, that's really the
Right.
only niche I can see for it. But
Yeah, so if
It's not-
you're comboing weapons, now having the bounce lets you place flames, I guess, to some extent. It lets you put them in places that are shorter than your normal range. So if you have a closer range opponent, and if you want them to stand in lingering flames while you switch to another weapon, especially if it's like the panic attack, shotgun, flare guns, in order to deal that extra damage, then if you have this knowledge of how they bounce, you can really you can, if you're, sometimes I do this like even off the panic attack, but if you have that presence of mind, you can really mess somebody up like that.
I tend to only use it for doorways, for example, like bouncing it off the corner of a doorway, so that way it
Yeah.
lingers in the entrance.
Yep.
I find that's one of the easiest ways to get a flare punch on Pyro, and that's the only time I've really used it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And also it kind of looks confusing to the pyro if they see you doing it, because they may not expect the behavior.
They're like, why is he shooting at the floor? He must be an idiot.
Yeah, why
Yes.
aren't you looking at me? What the heck? And then they
And
walk
then
in.
you
suddenly
active-
he takes 120 damage, and it's like, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah.
silly pyro, you activated my sound. That's gonna be cringy, so never mind.
And then he to add to the cringe, he'll reflect your flare and say, it's an Uno reverse card, haha.
Haha,
So,
funny. Okay.
yeah, funny joke.
Also,
Also,
who in
Thomas
here is-
Smurf's cat.
okay. Ultimate flare gun versus shotgun debate. Who
Oh,
are
God.
shotgun pyros in here? Who plays shotgun pyro in this voice chat? Is
I
it just
play
me and
shotgun.
Johnny? Oh, you
I do.
played. Okay. Okay.
I play
play
Shotgun
half the
Pyro
time.
if I'm trying to pub stomp.
Oh, okay. So
If I'm
basically,
pub stomping, I usually just go Demo Man or Soldier.
I require
Yeah.
hit scan on any class, which is why I can't play demo.
okay.
I play Dragon's Fury Pyro.
The
Oh,
true intellectual
yeah.
among us.
Dragon's
true
Fury Scorch
Galaxy
Shot,
Bird.
where it's
Yeah. Okay.
Make everyone
Yeah.
mad.
Oh, that's my phone sound. Turn off notifications. Sorry about that.
You know, if you want to make people mad, just play vlog for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that works too.
Flug makes me mad though. Because it's just frustrating going against it, and I feel bad playing it against other people because I know how easily it's countered, but in pubs, people don't do that. You don't have that one soldier who just knows how to hit. Oh yeah, just 2 rockets, boom, no more flog pyro.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah,
Unless of course they have a quick fix pocket.
I've become so desensitized to using plug in pubs. My
Oh, no.
friend, Medic Main.
Oh no, you're one of them.
Yeah, it's not often that we do it.
Oh, wait,
It's only
wait.
when we're really pissed off at people.
Oh, you do that. Oh.
I know, I'm a horrible person.
Even among pyro mains, you're looked down
Yeah.
upon.
I'm not a pyro main, that's the thing.
Oh,
I just play a decent amount of pyro. So,
okay.
Oddly enough, I'm a spy main.
Oh.
But that's why I'm able to play pyro well, because I make every spy upset, because I know all of their habits.
Yeah. Yeah, at first I thought we were gonna have this like dumb flare gun versus shotgun debate, but everyone here uses shotgun, so I'm sad.
I'm all about flare gun, what do you mean?
Oh, what?
I
like
only
them
use
both.
shotgun if I'm tryharding. I use flare gun if I want to have fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, Cosmic,
Oh,
Alpha,
hello.
do you got a question? Are you
Welcome,
hanging
Cosmic.
out? What's up?
Yeah. In terms of like strategy, how would you play as aggressive as Pyro and minimizing like how do you play like aggressive while minimizing your damage taken?
Dragon's Fury!
Like what kind of play
Might
like
help, but I guess this could be more of a tactic, I would say, where you use the velocity inheritance feature of flames to do a technique I call flame extension, where if your strategy is you want to maintain ground and stay safe while dealing damage, then what you can do is you can press W a little bit without, but then stop and maybe press S a little bit to move back to your original position. And for those brief moments where you're pressing W, those flames that you shot out are going a little bit further relative to their spawn point. So you can kind of do a little extension of your range and just get a little bit of extra damage in. It's a little bit safer. Maybe, and this is especially useful if you're using a flare gun. You can hit people who aren't expecting you to have.
Want to demonstrate that?
Yeah, sure. So like here's the normal range, right? So like pretty much right there, right? But then if so I was standing like about here, but if I can even just do this, then it should be able to hit you. Yeah, just barely, right there. So I was standing like more around here, and I was able to hit you by walking forward just a bit before that. So that's I would say that's one tactic you can employ to sort of do the accomplish your strategy of maintaining staying safe while still dealing damage. But of course, another excellent tactic you can employ is to just shoot them with your shotgun. Just stay at range with that and use that to. And if you're playing competitively, you'll probably want a degreaser so that you can quickly protect yourself. But
okay.
yeah, most of what we see in Invite Highlander is gonna be like shotgun pyros. If they're wanting to stay safe, they'll just shotgun people at a safer range. And sometimes we'll see some flare gun pyros like Oblivion, who will use some of those more tricky flame techniques to keep safe. And of course, spamming scored shots and detonators and all that from a safe range is also a perfectly viable tactic. What's up?
Okay.
Oh. Okay. I was gonna say that I watched some like demos of the invite pyros in this season, and the weapons I mostly see most of the time are the shotgun, detonator, squirt shot. I've only seen the flare gun by Obliv, not really anyone else.
Yeah, Obliv is the flare gun master right now. So
yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense based on how the meta has shifted. Usually the teams that he's on kind of allow him a little bit more freedom to do some more flanky action, and the flare gun is pretty strong at hit and run strategies. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
All right, anything else anyone want to talk about?
I have one quick question about the scorch shot.
Sure.
Do you think it needs to be changed due to the fact that it is the only item in the game currently that can fully stun lock somebody.
That is
Due to the
interesting.
fact
I
that
didn't know
the
about
direct
that.
one is really a bit of a pain to go against, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not really sure because from my perspective, I feel like the scorch shot isn't necessarily like the strongest weapon ever, but I can definitely see how it's annoying to players. Like it's very annoying to deal with. And there is a trend towards removing a lot of the more annoying things that Pyro has in his arsenal, or nerfing them in such a way that they become a little bit less frustrating to play against. So I guess like I'm not certain that it should be the case that it should be nerfed, but maybe it would be more interesting to see the scorch shot have a change in how its knockback works.
I feel like they should make it more of a horizontal than a vertical knockback to avoid the whole stopping all of your forward momentum, even if you hit somebody from behind with it.
Yeah, I
So
guess
it's essentially like a long-range air blast, and it'd be really fun to knock people off cliffs with it.
that might annoy a lot more people. Actually, who knows?
Yeah.
I would love that. It'd be so much fun.
That would be actually really hilarious and fit with the humor of the game. But I guess the question would remain is what do you do with the little ball that comes out, like a little floaty projectile?
Lingering
Lingering
flare.
ball?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm unsure why that was included in the first place with the weapon, because no other pyro weapon does that.
That's probably why it was included. It's
Fair
because
enough.
it's like a unique thing.
Makes it unique.
Yeah.
Makes it
Stand out a
Yeah.
little bit.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Also. Okay. Oh, all right. Sorry. About that air blast thing, I remember in well, this season, but my team died. For this season, I think our spy always complained about the air blasting on upward. So he's like, sorry, that reminded me of that.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have like a balanced idea for Pyro. This probably won't be that good, but I don't know.
What's up?
Give Pyro a movement buff, and maybe put his health to 165 to compensate that.
Okay.
I think
That's
that would work because that would
turns into scout.
yes
Make it more offensive than defensive based.
make him the scout man, but with a mask. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they
Because
that's kind of what the power jack is maybe
yeah,
intended to
so
cover.
yeah, that sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking of like because no one really uses any other melee. It's basically just power jack only. So I think if you change the power jack to how the GPS balance mod is,
Yeah.
you know, for like the health and kind of combo thing, and give Pyro a movement buff, like a speed buff, but have his health lower, like the old power jack set, you know, the gas jockey set.
Yeah,
You know?
it's effectively lower because of the bullet thing. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
bullet,
thinking of doing because
vulnerability.
yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. Honestly, since Pyro has had this much health for like 10 years. Plus,
Okay.
10 years
Health
But I don't know
is
because
large.
but I was thinking
It's a
okay,
little
yeah.
You
scary.
could change the power jack to that.
Yeah,
Lower
because,
max health, but always increase mobility.
yeah, because I thought like if I just said, "Oh yeah, just give him a movement buff," people would complain. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I think that would make
just-
a lot of
yeah.
people really upset, even with like lower HP. And also,
yeah, it's
with regards to like if you were to make Pyro like always faster with a power jack but have less health, I think they wouldn't want to do that because they're trying to move towards a philosophy of like if you have to be able to see to sort of
Yeah.
see like for example, that's why they made the power jack like you have to hold it out to get the speed boost. They want people to be able to know that Pyro is going faster than otherwise able to because he's holding the power jack, you know.
Okay,
Whereas if it
yeah.
was always faster but you just had less health, you wouldn't even necessarily know that the Pyro has less health in a lot of situations. You would just have to like kind of see, is he going faster? I guess kind of like when you look at a spy disguised as scout, it's like, is that fast enough? That seems wrong, you know. It's like, but maybe not. So that
Yeah.
might be confusing a little bit, but I guess
Okay.
I really do like the high GPS balance of the power jack and the hot hand, where the hot hand is the fast weapon. You hold it, you go faster. You hit someone, you go even faster, and you take more damage when you're holding it. But the power jack is the health weapon, which is in line with its original sort of intention, where you hit somebody or you kill somebody with it, you get health back, and also you get additional health from healing sources such as medics and dispensers. I think that's a great way to balance the two weapons out and gives you an incentive to use something that isn't the power jack.
It'd be hilarious to see Pyros holding the hot hand all the time.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's the main.
Just running, just.
That's one of the biggest things about playing on that server for me, is that I always forget about the hot hand chain, so I see a Pyro holding it out, man, like, oh, I'll be fine, he won't be able to catch up.
Yeah.
And he's running so fast.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
really
Also
interesting.
with
Yeah, go ahead.
also with the speed pad with the hot hand.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Oh god. It's just.
And then do a hot hand
Zoom.
jump.
Oh. Hot hand
Slaps of
jumps.
fury.
Slaps of fury. Okay.
All right, looks like we've hit the hour mark. Does anyone have any final things you want to talk about or discuss? Or are we all good here?
Why won't Valve update their game?
Yes, we all do, but they're gonna
Bunch of
make
nerds.
that. They're gonna make that Half-Life game or something. I don't know. Like
Half-Life,
Half-Life Alex.
Pyro.
Pyro VR.
Now with more flames.
Pyro VR.
Yeah.
Pyro
The
VR is
Valve
realistic
Index
flame action.
spontaneously combusts.
It destroys your Valve headwear.
Comes with its own Elon Musk brand flamethrower.
Okay.
All right. Oh yeah, the high GPS balance mod stock axe gives you extra all-around switch speed, which I think is excellent. I
Wait,
just
it
wanna
does?
use
Wait, it does?
Yeah.
Wait.
I know what I'm using.
Boy. Okay. Ultimate idea. This might not, I don't know, this might work. Two ideas. Stock axe, flare gun degreaser, or stock axe, panic attack in degreaser.
Oh god. I used that for a little bit actually. It was terrifying, truly.
That would be, yeah.
Oh no.
Also, I used to be able to use the panic attack well because how I would hold my mouse is have my pointer finger on the mouse one, my ring finger on the scroll wheel, and my ring finger on the mouse, the second button on the mouse. So I could just like scroll back and forth with my scroll wheel because I have scroll wheel up to slot 1 and scroll wheel 2 to slot 2, so I could just hold down the fire button and just switch between. And that was easy. But I changed. I don't have my middle finger on my scroll wheel. I have it on my mouse too. So
yeah, that definitely makes it a little harder, especially
So
for
it's hard.
lasting. You have to spend time moving your finger, and that consumes a lot.
I actually have my
in-game
mouse
time.
button set for my secondary, so you don't have to move your hands at all.
well, I actually
mouse
have
4 and
mouse.
mouse 5 is individually the shotgun or the melee.
Nice.
Yeah, I have that also, but like I guess you could use the quick switch, but you know that's Q. But I don't like restricting my movement. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think I have the quick switch bound anymore.
No, I definitely don't. That makes things too confusing for me.
Oh,
Mhm.
Can I just like thank you for doing this?
Oh,
Fine.
sure. I mean, I'll take some thanks. Yeah, praise me, please.
Oh,
Sorry.
Thank you.
Johnny.
Thank you, Professor Johnny, for making videos
yes,
again.
yes.
Thank you.
I would like to say one thing to you, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably the only reason why I even decided to pick up the flare gun when I was new to this game.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Because I
It's an honor.
don't remember who it was, but I think it might have been Woolen who suggested it, but one of my friends told me that there was a pyro main who was an absolute god with their flare gun back in the day, and they recommended Wispy Pyro as the channel, so I checked
That's
out and I was like,
neat.
wow, this looks awesome.
Oh, yeah. You used to
Cool.
use. Oh, you used to use flare gun, Johnny. I forgot about that.
I still use it, actually. I still use it quite
Oh,
often. Yeah, I
okay.
switch around my loadouts pretty often in my classes now, too, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can still get practice with
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
said
a
this
shock.
it.
You go ahead.
I'm just a shotgun purist. I think I have like a strange flare gun, and I've had
Thank
it
you
for
guys
like
joining the
2.
stream.
I had it for 2 years and only has like 72 kills on it. And my shotgun has like 3,500 or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I've
never
only
used-
recently got a flare gun, so mine only has like 700 goes on it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fun weapon. It's a fun weapon, and it really helps you. It really rewards you for knowing your flamethrower mechanics. So like specifically like knowing flame extension and all that. That's really gonna help you maximize the utility of the flare gun, and especially if you get godlike and like you can aim flames downward so that they bounce to where your opponents are gonna be, and like create a line of flames that they walk through, and as they take all that damage while you switch your flare gun and flare punch them, you know, like if you can like really get in depth with how the flames work, then that would really help the flare gun become way better. You could probably do like 150 damage in like 0.34 like 0.4 seconds or so by doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a fun weapon, and I think I need to learn how to do some of the crazier things with it. All right, any other questions, or am I being detained, or am I free to go? What's going on? What's up, guys?
But tank, what?
Am I being detained?
Sorry.
Give
Yeah,
us
yes.
Pyro TF2 now.
Do your best Pyro impression.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I can't do that. What are you doing?
I mean,
Okay.
it sounded like someone suffocating, so I guess that's fair enough.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm closing my nose and covering my mouth. So
Okay. Johnny, here's my PhD for pyrology.
yes, I saw this. This is excellent.
Yes.
I'm very proud of you for graduating.
WM1 University at CP Badlands. Yes.
That's great. I like the branding of WM1 University. I might steal that.
I'm so proud of myself.
That's excellent.
Oh yeah, and I also got it May 12th on 20XX. Yes.
Oh.
May.
Yeah.
All right,
That was a
guys.
Tuesday.
Unless there's any more questions, I'm gonna head out. Thank you
Okay.
for joining us after class, and we'll cover some more fun things next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Thank you,
Bye.
Stackman, as well
Bye.
for everyone. Give Stackman a big thank you for helping with the demonstrations.
Oh,
Good job.
He's gone.
Okay. Just me. Okay.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll tune in maybe next week, maybe in a few weeks. We'll see. But stay tuned.